Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to attack the subscribe button, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, standing on the balcony, our Demon King MC waves to his hundreds of supporters, all whilst his subordinates bow their heads. Having reached the pinnacle of his power, our MC has never tasted defeat, making his life very boring. Therefore he hopes to live a more interesting life, choosing to reincarnate. In a peaceful town, we hear our MC, Ard Meteor, adored by his parents, as they celebrate Ard turning 10 years old. As Ard's parents shower him with compliments, his father compliments both his and his mother's looks, as his mother compliments his father's intellect and physical prowess. Whilst his mother and father reminisce on their past, Ard talks about how he, the strongest demon king ever known, is now a normal human boy, birthed by 2 average parents, living in a peaceful town. Having learnt about this new time period, Ard notes how the magic and education have declined since his time ruling. Even as a child, he has quite high stats, having above average health, stamina and physical strength, making Ard able to master most martial arts techniques. Ard is suddenly asked by his parents what he would like to do, asking if Ard has any dreams or ambitions. Thinking for a while, Ard reasons that his sole mission in this life would be to find a rival or a friend, able to match his desire to grow. Having returned to his room, Ard hears some kids playing, looking out his window to see what all the fuss is about. In his past, people that were closest to Ard always put distance between Ard and them. This made it hard for Ard to build any genuine friendships. Hoping to make friends with these kids outside, Ard stares at them, putting on a nice smile, which eventually draws the kids' attention. But when Ard doesn't speak up, the kids get creeped out, running away. Not realizing that his awkward approach to making friends had failed, Ard tries again, this time with a couple of girls passing by. Preparing to befriend them, Ard suddenly feels butterflies in his stomach, finding it peculiar, as for the first time in his existence, he has feared doing something. As the girls walk past his hiding spot, they notice Ard crouched down, but when he tries to greet them, he instead scares them off, as he tries to fight back the fear. Not wanting to fail at making friends, Ard calls out to them, stopping them from running off. With a formal tone, Ard wishes to be friends with them, offering half the world to them, but this gives the girls another reason to run away. Falling to his knees completely defeated, Ard wonders why he, formerly known as Demon Lord Varvatos, conqueror of nations and gods, is unable to talk to measly humans. Heading into the forest, Ard starts destroying the surrounding area, as he lets out his frustration, only to return home. As Ard sits alone, he's greeted by the mayor of the town, Sir Olhide. Asking Olhide for advice, Olhide states that Ard shouldn't use any tricks to gain friends. Instead he should confess his desire to be friends, and be as genuine and kind as possible. Hearing this, Ard gets an idea, running off before Olhide can ask Ard for a favor regarding his daughter. As Ard's parents thank Olhide for advising their son, Ard attempts to confront and greet the kids that ran away from him, this time with a genuine attitude, but again no luck. As Ard heads into the forest once again to vent his frustrations, he catches himself, before he begins destroying more stuff. As Ard flies home, he stumbles upon a little girl, soloing a wolf, wondering why she's having trouble against such an easy creature. Cutting to Olhide and Ard's parents, we learn that Olhide's daughter had been bullied in the past, leading her to not only shut herself off from the world, but also her parents. Back with Ard, he calmly watches, as the little girl incinerates the wolf, casting a lightning spell. Recognizing her as someone from his past life, he calls out Lydia, greeting the girl, whilst complimenting her talent, especially at such a young age. Seeing her so on nerve, Ard gets tensed, spouting out that he would like to be her friend, causing her to freeze. As Ard moves in closer to check on her, she suddenly cries that Ard doesn't know anything about her, running off, leaving Ard to wonder why she's crying. As the girl runs to find her parents, we find out that the girl, Irina, is the daughter of Olhide. Knowing that this is the perfect excuse to befriend Irina, Ard chases after Irene day after day, stating that since their parents are acquainted, so should they. Attempting to give Irina flowers, he's rejected, due to him creepily asking to know more about her. Following her to the forest as she trains, he attempts to walk her home, but scares her off, when he showers her with compliments. Returning home for now, Ard assesses the strategies he's tried so far, with none working. As he lays down, he can't help but feel like a similar thing has happened before, but is suddenly alerted, as there is screaming outside. Running outside, Ard's father immediately rushes to defend the townsfolk, demanding that Ard get to safety. Apparently, a dungeon core had begun to act up, causing an influx of monsters to run rampant through their town. To make things worse, Olhide informs them that Irina is still in the forest, which Ard blames himself, having left her there all alone. Telling the others to not worry, Ard begins to fly over to the forest, as we cut to Irina. Completely surrounded by tens of goblins, Irina is helpless, standing strong, and ready to fight. But when the goblins bring up Irina's non-existent friends, Irina begins to despair, as she tosses aside her sword. Realizing that she's doomed, Irina calls out for help, as the goblins attack. Suddenly a mysterious dome of energy surrounds Irina, blowing away the attacking goblins, only to reveal that Ard has made it just in time. Slowly floating closer to the goblins, Ard is warned to not fight, but with a blink of an eye, Ard puts on an electrifying performance, killing most of the goblins. Turning to the leader, Ard gives the leader a chance to flee, but the goblin refuses, rushing Ard, which forces his hand. Using a skill, Ard easily blows up the remaining goblins, ending the fight swiftly. Checking up on Irina, she wonders why Ard would help someone like her, but he states that he wants to be her friend. Refusing to believe that Ard won't betray her, Ard swears that he would never cause harm to her, as he had betrayed his best friend in his previous life, and had lived to regret that. As Irina begins to list out her insecurities, Ard reassures her that even with these flaws, he would gladly stay by her side. With 7 years passing, Ard and Irina have grown close, both maturing drastically. One fateful day, as Irina wakes up Ard, she asks that they both attend a magic school. Thanks for watching.